and I'll show you this right quick. You are in Teams, and when you are in Teams, you are able to use your hand, raise your hand, and it shows me that somebody's got a question. You have conversation right here. You can say, everybody happy. You can, and that's to the class. You can, those are the two biggest things you can do. Of course, there is your mic, and there's your video. You can turn that off and on. I prefer that y'all stay on mute until you have a question. And either you can raise your hand, and if I don't see that your hand's raised, just come in and say, Hubert, I have a question. Okay, it's not a big deal. All right, so I'm going to get rid of that and go back to enrollment so I can see who's in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 out of 15. Half the class is not on. Okay. Now over here on the left-hand side, you have activity, which means anything that's happening on the post or the I call it the bulletin board. You have chat, which if I wanted to chat with somebody, let's see, let me pull, let's see, hold on a second. I'm looking to see who's in here. Mr. Brickman, I'll pick on him. So if I wanted to, if I was outside of class and I wanted to say something to Mr. Brickman, and I'd type it in the right here, and it's not coming up. There we go. Is it Riley?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'd click on Riley and I'd go, you are going to fail, right? So I would send that to him, and that's an individual message, chat, whatever you want to call it, and that's through this button right here. But if you wanted to go to the bulletin board, you would hit Teams, and since we are in the bulletin board, you would type here, and everybody would get this message. And then you're in an open session. Okay, does everybody understand the 2 or 3 things? Okay, up here, files. That's where I sent you the files that I sent you 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago on email. So you can't use that excuse that went back in 2005. Oh, I don't know how to use email. I didn't get the email. My dog ate the email. I put it here. I put it email. I put it here. I put it on Blackboard, which I don't use. And I put it on My Labs Plus. So I'm a real bastard because I cover all those bases. And therefore, the person that used to use that excuse, oh, I don't check my email. Well, that's a moot point now because I've got it on 3 other delivery systems. So let's go ahead and look at some of these. And I'm going to go back to the actual, there we go. And I'm going to take that, move that back over to my big screen. And Miss Hatton, are you there? Miss Hatton.
Yes. Yes, I'm here.
Are you from Anderson?
Yes, sir.
What is your kinship to Sam Hatton?
I don't know. I don't know him. I married a Hatton.
You did? You need to ask because my father was a good friend to a man named Sam Hatton. And
okay,
I'm just curious. When I saw your name, I was like, dang, I hadn't seen that name in a long time. So you have to ask your husband if that was, it'd probably be like his great-grandfather or grandfather.
Okay.
If it's kin to. Okay. All right. I'll shut up. All right. Okay. So math 155. let's go back to the first email I sent y'all, and that was pretty much, hello, how you doing? And I'm just going to look at it, and y'all should be able to see my email. You should be able to see my screen. This is the email I sent. Here's how you install, which if you haven't done this, you won't be able to see it because you're not on Teams. So I'm not worried too much about that. I want to explain something here because one of my teachers said that they didn't like this statement, but I said I really don't care. But they said you shouldn't say, please don't spaz. Well, I've been through a year and a half of counseling after Desert Shield and Desert Storm, and I was put on medication. So that's where that medicine comes from, because I was put on medication for about a year and a half after. And then when I went through a divorce and I lost my father at the same time I was going through a divorce, I did 2 years of counseling. I wasn't on medicine at that time because they took me off the medicine here. So people, if you're going to be in my class, you're going to have what's called a sense of, what's it called? A sense of humor. You're going to have that, okay? If you don't like, if you're winged on a pickle, then, and you hate life and hate the world and hate, classes and hate college and hate everybody, then you need to drop my class, okay? Because I like to have a little bit of fun every now and then. I like to have a smile every now and then. And if you're winged on a pickle, then you need to drop me, okay? Because I do, I try to have a comfortable learning environment, and sometimes that means you got to have a sense of humor. So if you don't know who Hammy is, that's a dang squirrel. Y'all know who Hammy is, don't you? Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. Hammy the squirrel. I had to explain this to one of my colleagues. They didn't know who Hammy the squirrel is. Y'all seen the cartoons? Y'all know who that is, right? Hammy the squirrel. Yeah. Okay, what does Hammy do? He's all over the place. He's like a ping pong ball in a room full of mouse traps. I mean, he's all over the place. He can't concentrate on one thing for jumping over here and concentrating on another thing. All right. Some of y'all are like that before the first day of class. So I've sent that email out and saying, don't be a hammy. Okay? Just chill. Okay? Anyway, I guess that spaz offended one of my colleagues. I don't know why. I was always told not to spaz out. So I don't know. You'll have to help me out there. All right. So that was the first email. The second email was this one. And that's the one that started off with Teams. And then the third email was syllabus and handouts, I think. And of course, it's not here, so I need to go here and look up Math 155. And it should be in here somewhere. There it is. So I'm not going to cover too much. I'm going to cover a couple of things. I used to cover this, which is the how to get in contact with me, but all this is ancient now. Not the stuff about me, but the contact information is all mute because now you just what? If you need to talk to me, all you do is hit what? Chat, and you ask me whatever you need to ask me. So, of course, you got to make sure you're in an individual chat or the team chat. Okay? So that's kind of, but if you still want to email me, you can email me. There's my email. at TCTC. I don't even use this one anymore. So just mark that Bell South one out. I don't hold office hours. If you want to have virtual office hours, just team me. Tell me what time you want to team. But we'll get to that Wednesday when I go over homework. I tell you how I cover homework. Why do I give you all this information? Well, I'll tell you right now, there's 2 bonus questions on here. One bonus question has to do with my phone number and my email address. So there's a bonus question right there. Second bonus question is, which branch of the military did I serve in? Okay. Please don't get that wrong, because then people think that you're, not sentient, because I just gave you the answer to that one. And there's only one branch that's named that. So it's kind of hard to mess that up, even though some people get it wrong. And I gave you a little bit about me. Why do I do this? Well, I do it for a lot of reasons. One is, back a long time ago, we used to hand out index cards and write down 5 interesting things about yourself. And then we would read them out and try to find out who it was. Try to get the atmosphere of the class to be a little bit, less intense, less hammy. In other words, not everybody, freaking out the first day of class. Because if you can control the first day of class and you can make it less anxiety or less stressful, then that'll feed into a comfortable working environment, learning environment. And somebody did something. Let's see, what's that? That's all right, Miss Hubbard, you in here? Or Mr. Hubbard, are you in here now? Did he come in? Let's see if he came in. Mr. Hubbard, where is Mr. Hubbard? Let's see if he's in here. Mr. Hubbard, are you in here? Are you muted? Can you hear me? Well, I see him right there, but I don't know. I guess he's in the classroom. Hopefully all y'all can hear me. Mr. Brickman, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, let me just pick some people. Mr. Ferguson, can you hear me? Mr. Tillotson, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Mr. Ferguson, can you hear me? Okay, Miss Hatton could hear me because she talked to me a while ago. So I just picking some people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Still got 9. We need 7 more people. I don't know where they are. Oh well. Okay, so that's a little bit about me. Give you a little bit of, about me, not because I'm blowing my own horn. I'm giving you a little bit about me because there isn't nothing worse than sitting through a course and you don't even know the teacher's name. Okay, or you know nothing about that teacher. I don't like that. So I'm the opposite. Has anybody in here had me before as a teacher? Anybody? Has anybody in the class, have you heard or know anybody that's had me before? Nobody?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh, nobody knows anybody that's had me before.
Oh, wait.
Well, I know
Go ahead.
Misha, she had you last semester.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I want you to tell me in 2 or 3 words to describe this class, what she used to describe this class. Not me, but the class. What'd she say?
She said it's self-explanatory, more hands-on, and you use like the YouTube to assist with any help that's needed.
Yeah. So in other words, did she use any words like I'm disrespectful to students, unprofessional, or I pull punches and ask questions that are not on the test, or I ask questions on the test that I don't cover in class, anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay. How about someone else? Did somebody else know somebody?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Who'd you know?
My friend Sarah, I think she had you I think a year ago.
Last name?
Chandler.
Okay. I remember Miss Chandler. I think she took 120. I'm not sure. Give me some words that she used to describe my class.
She said it was really fun, engaging.
So no negative words like I'm hateful to students and all this other stuff.
Oh no, she really enjoyed it.
So the reason I say that is a lot of students have this stereotype that college professors are all these crotchety old people that like to kick you in the stomach when you're down on the ground and all this, and they want to fail you. And well, I'm not that person. I'm the opposite. And because I remember how crappy it can be a student. And I know how crappy it can be to get up every morning and come to a class. So I try to make the classes halfway fun or different or comfortable. And in 20 plus years, I think it's 25 plus years now, I think to this day, as far as throwing people out of classes, I've only had to throw 3 people out in 25 years. And all 3 of those were guys that had some kind of issues. They had self-compensation issues or something, overcompensation issues. They had problems. And those were at the Pendleton campus. When I was at the Pendleton campus for my first 15 years, I've been here at the Anderson campus now for about 10 years now. So what I'm trying to tell you is I do things for a reason. And one of the reasons is to obtain a comfortable learning environment. Now that's exceptionally hard when you're doing it via virtuality. And I try to do what I can with the whiteboard. Not every day. I mean, I've got my handy dandy tools here. I've got hold on a second. I've got my document cam right here. We use that. And then I've got my whiteboard, which my whiteboard is not even on right now, but yeah, let's see. Why isn't it on? Probably because I hadn't turned my stylus on. Let's see if that's on. There we go. And that should come up here in a second. There we go. Okay, I got to calibrate it. Let me calibrate it right quick, then you can see it. Number 1. Hold on a second. Let me calibrate my whiteboard. And I'm just going to show you what you're going to see. But don't kick my cat. And on my whiteboard. Well, anyway, oh, there it is. I wondered where it went. They moved it. So there we go. So now you can see that I can write on my whiteboard. So I can do that, or I can use the document cam just to give you, and then I can make it into transparency, and I can pull up stuff from the internet. Okay, so I do have several tools that I use, and I need y'all to help me out, because if y'all sit there like you're winged on a pickle and don't say anything, then that's just going to draw this class out. Instead of being an hour, it's going to feel like it's 3 hours. Okay, so I need some of y'all that are talkative, not talk disrespectfully all the time, but when I ask a question like what's 2 plus 4, I want somebody to say 6. Okay, so And you don't have to keep unless you got a real loud dog running around, which I don't like dogs. I like dogs as long as they don't bark. And, you got a crazy ass boyfriend or girlfriend running around. You just stay muted. But if you're in a fairly quiet dwelling, I'm sorry, you don't mute me. You might turn your volume down, but you don't mute me. Okay? If you're in somewhat of a, quiet dwelling, then you can unmute yourself. That's fine. And that way you can talk in class. All right, so here we go. Next on the agenda is the class courtesy. Class courtesy. I'm trying to get out of this. Class courtesy. And as I got the eyewitnesses to tell you, this is number one rule, my number one rule of the classroom. I treat students the way I want to be what? Treated. And like I say, that rule right there, I think that's one of the reasons I've only had to throw out 3 people in 25 plus years. How many of you remember high school and the high school teacher coming in and saying, okay, you're all a bunch of losers. You're all going to fail my class because I am a hard teacher and you can't chew gum. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. And of course, you wanted to do everything the opposite. Okay? I try to have a comfortable environment. And, if you work with me halfway, I'll meet you halfway. And that's what basically that number one rule is. I got a cell phone. My cell phone will go off while we're in class. I'm not going to have cardio infarctions trying to worry about whether you're playing on your cell phone in a virtual classroom. I think we have a lot more to worry about than that. The only thing I want to tell you about attendance, I have to take attendance, but it's a good thing because right now they're only doing weekly attendance. So I only have to take weekly attendance. I do not drop anybody. The only time I will drop a student is when I'm asked to drop a student. Financial aid, your mother, your father, your guardian, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, the Anderson County Sheriff's Department, Tri-County Tech Financial Aid, Tri-County Tech Student Records. Somebody has to come to me with an email, a message, a phone call in person and say, Hubert, you need to drop Miss Hatton. And I say, okay, I'll fill out the paperwork and send it down. That's the only way that I will drop a student. I do not drop students because they don't show up. I do not drop students because they don't do homework. Okay? But then again, that's a double-edged sword. If you got zeros across the board, what are you going to get for a final grade? You're going to get an F. Okay? So dropping the student is up to the student. And supplies. Now, I'll go over this a little bit Wednesday when we go over printing out your book. But here is supplies. This is a kind of a mutt of a class. It has a little bit of algebra in it. It has a little bit of, but it's all basic math. Okay? There's not a lot of math that you can't do in your head. You can bring a calculator to class, but you're not supposed to use it to take the square root of 25. Mostly what we do in here with a calculator is decimal work. Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing decimals. That's the only time we use it. Everything else you can pretty much do in your head. Okay? Make sure you bring highlighters or colored pencils. Make sure you bring graph paper. Graph paper, I think, is in chapter 2, unit 2. We do graphing. You need to bring graph paper. And colored pencils or highlighters. What about your book? Well, the book, we don't need to worry about the book right now because everybody has a book. If you go to My Labs Plus right now, and you pull up your class, Math 155, and you hit chapter contents, and you go to chapter 5, because that's where we start, and you hit e-text. I'm going to show you this Wednesday. Then the e-text will come up. It'll take a while, but it should come up. Let me hit it again. And eventually it'll come up. And you can print that out, and I'll show you how to do that Wednesday. So do you have to buy a book? No. Can you buy a book? Yes. I don't care what everybody's got a book, and it's called the e-text. I'm not going to tell you to go out and buy another book. You can print this one out by section. I'll show you that Wednesday. But anyway, so as far as a book goes, whatever you bring to class is up to you, or you can print it out. Okay. Pretty much that's it. But you can pull up the supplies and calculators. Those of you with an Android calculator, you can download Wabbit EMU, and I'll type that in for you. I think it's Wabbit EMU. And that is where you can download a application. I'll show it to you. It'll look something like this. See Wabbit EMU? I'm going to leave that right there for you. Okay, but it'll be on your it'll be on your Android. Apple, they fix everything where you have to pay for anything extra. So if you have an Apple phone or whatever it's called, then you're probably going to have to pay for it. Sorry, that's the way the apple crumbles. All right, so that's how you can, save yourself a few pennies by getting this on. And you don't need this calculator so much that the phone is going to cause a problem. Okay, I'd say there's only 10, maybe 20% of the calculations you do on a calculator, and that's very rare. So I wouldn't worry too much about a calculator. Okay. And that pretty much covers most of the documents. I'll pull up a couple of more documents. Let me get out of this because it's got all that. I've already went over that. Let me pull in y'all right here and hit files right up here. This is my locator card. Shows you where I am. Like today, y'all are my last course. It's pulling you up slowly. It'll be y'all. Tomorrow, I have 3 courses back to back. Okay. These that are colored, that means that I face-to-face. Those are face-to-face courses. And team out like I'm doing with y'all right now. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of where I am. Not a big deal. Next, the syllabus. Now, the most important page in the syllabus is the last page. This is what you need to put in your notebook. And let's go ahead and take those off. I can't take them off, but Let's mark through those, okay? We're gonna start Unit 1 is gonna be 5.1 through 5.3, 5.6, and 10.1. So I need everybody to mark those two out. Okay, everybody understand that? We are skipping 1.2 and 1.3. The reason is I'm not going to insult people's intelligence by going over estimating 25. Is 25 closer to 30 or 20? I'm not going to do that, okay? You had to have Algebra 1 to get into this class. And estimating is before pre-algebra, and I'm just not going to do that. Now, if you want to look at those sections on your own, that's fine. And you can do that while we're working on, if you want to read up on 1.2 and 1.3 while we're doing the classroom logistics from now, Wednesday and Friday, then that's fine. But after Friday or Friday, I will probably start on 5.1. That will probably be Friday or Monday. I'll start with 5.1. I will not put this on the test. You are not responsible for 1.2 or 1.3. Okay? I would highly suggest do not get ahead of me either, because this is what happens when students get ahead of me. Let's say that I'm on 5.2 and Billy Bob at home, he wants to go ahead and get Unit 1 taken care of, and he's in 6.5. Well, I may cut out 6.4, and that's a whole section of homework that you did that you didn't have to do. So while you can, move ahead when I tell you to, like with the 1.2 and 1.3, if you want to read that while we're going over stuff this week, that's fine. And I'll tell you that the Unit 1 test is going to cover 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.6, and 10.1. And if I say that, then you can go ahead and work on all of those. But if I don't go further, if I don't go down to 6 and tell you about 6, you don't need to mess with it. Now, when we get in Chapter 6, I'll probably say, well, I'm going to test you on the first 5 sections, and I'm going to make 6.6 a separate test, and we're going to go over it separately. And that's usually what I do. Then you would make a note of that. So right now, you can read this if you want to, but you're not responsible for it as far as a test or homework. So do not do the homework for 1.2 and 1.3. Okay? But that is the most important page of the syllabus. Here is, well, why don't they have the weights? I didn't know they didn't have the weights. Huh. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you the weights. The weights for the homework and stuff in the class, 80% is test and exam, and 20% is homework. 80% is test and exam, 20% is homework, and that is a bonus question. YouTube. What is YouTube? Well, that's where I put all my videos. So let's go to YouTube. Pull up YouTube. Go to that. Type in YouTube here. Pull up Hubert. And click on the pink shirt. Go under my last name, hit playlist. The last time I taught 155 was spring. right here, 2019-20. So that was right before the summer. So if you wanted to go ahead of me on chapter 5, since you know what chapter 5 is now, then you would go here, day 1 and day 2. That's what we're doing now. We're in day 1. Day 2, we're going to go over Wednesday and probably Friday, a little bit Friday. And then Friday, we'll actually get started on 5.1. So you can go ahead and be looking over these. There's 5.3, 5.2, scientific notation, which is 5.6. More scientific notation than 10.1. Then unit 1 test. Look at there. There's unit 2 test, or unit 1 part 2. So there, if you'll look, there's your first unit right there. So you can go home tonight and watch all of these and be ready for homework or whatever. Now that's just up to you. But that's how you find my videos. Now your videos that I'm recording today will be in this spot right here. Because this is the class I had at 8 o'clock. This is the class I had at 9 o'clock. And your class will be called Math 155 dash, what are y'all, 14? I think y'all are 14, aren't you? It'll be called Math 155 Spring 2019-20. And it'll go right here where this spot is right here. And these will move over. And if you want to use, there's Math 155 right there. Oh, I'm sorry. Math 155 will be right here. And there's the old 155 that you can look at for reference, for extra problems, to see where we're going. There's the spring 2019-20. And we need to have a little bit of fun. How about Rate My Professor? Any of y'all gone to Rate My Professor? Oh, come on. Y'all don't know about Rate My Professor? Somebody give me a teacher that you want to check out on your schedule. Well, something just went haywire. There we go. I don't want to look for a school in a state. I want you to find a school. Well, I don't remember having to look. Usually I just type in the ant, whatever. I don't know what's wrong with this. I'm gonna just pull it up again. Rate My Professors. Find a school. TRI. Tri-County Technical College. All right, somebody give me a last name of a teacher y'all want to check out.
Hold
Come
on.
on.
I gotta find my schedule.
Okay.
Smith, Annie Smith.
Okay, Smith is S-M-I-T-H.
Yes, sir.
And A. Okay, that must be somebody new. So what you might have to do is, she been teaching for long?
She the college skill teacher.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm pulling up S right now to see if.
Is this Annie Marie Smith?
I'm looking. Let me type in Annie. I don't see anything there. Might be. Let me type in Smith. Smith again. I don't see an Annie.
Oh, must be new.
She must be new. But what you can do is go outside, find an instructor. Let's go back. Find a professor. and type in Smith. And okay, let's type in Annie. Is it IE?
No I, just a E.
Ann, like that? Is that right? ANNE?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's Ann. That's not Annie. I must have thought you said Annie. Now there's some Ann Smiths. I'm looking for Tri-County, but I don't see. I wonder if she taught at another college. Not Tri-County again.
Will it still show up if she just teach online?
Yeah, it would still show up if she's been teaching, because students, they find out about Rate My Professor, and they take their student, they take it seriously. I can't find her, so evidently she's new, or she taught at another college.
Okay.
One of the two. All right, who's got another one?
Mine was Phil Smith.
Turn. Smith. First one was Ann. The second one is Phil. I've known Phil for a long time. He's good. He's got pretty good. He's got a 3.8. But he's only got 24 ratings. He's been teaching the same amount of years as I have. So he's got a 3.8. What's good? 2 or above. Anything below a 2, get the hell out. Anybody got another one? I see mostly green with Phil, so. But he's only got 24 ratings. That's 1 a year, because he's been teaching about 25 years like I have. All right, who's got another one? One more. Nobody's got one?
That was my only other teacher for the day.
Oh, okay.
Try Pamela Allstat.
How do you spell that last name?
ALTSTATT.
Pamela, she's only got 2 ratings, and there's 5. So now you can take this one for what it's worth. You only got 2 ratings, and they're both 5s. So I don't know. Loving. She is a kindest person. What does she teach? Health
SFT
science?
109.
Yeah, it looks like to me she's pretty good. But you only got 2. You have to check, make sure they can spell cat with a C instead of a K. Okay, make sure that they can use proper grammar. And if they use proper grammar and they don't misspell words, and chances are you can take those 2 pretty seriously. Loving, takes time. So it sounds like to me you got a good one there. She must be new or new to the college, because she's only got 2 entries. All right, so as you can see, you can go to Rate My Professor and pull up teachers, teachers that are not even on this campus. So that's kind of a guide. I tell students 2 or above, okay. Really, a 2 is kind of the cutoff, and that depends on how strong of a subject student you are. If you're a strong math student, then a 2 is not a big thing. If you're a terrible math student, then a 2 means get the hell out. So you got all kinds of different things going into that. But it's a good little website. Like I said, if a student has no grammar, if a student spells cat, K-A-T, then you can pretty much throw that one out the window. That person don't know how to spell or how to write. So it's not a very serious student. Okay, so I'm going to take that off now and take this off, because I'm getting all kinds of weird stuff on here. And that'll pretty much take us to our stopping point today. And I'm going to stop us at the Let me stop the presentation as well as stop the recording.